Traveling to Consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
What is up, conscious monkeys? Welcome back. I'm back to another episode of Traveling to Consciousness. As always, I'm your host, Clayton Cuteri. I had an amazing trip out to Arizona. I am back. We're going to get back on the bi-weeklies. We're going to get cranking out some solid podcasts for you guys. Had a great meeting. We met with quite a few people, some clients for our digital marketing agency. So if you didn't know that and you need a digital marketing agency, come check us out. We're looking to work with forward-thinking businesses. So if you're someone who is looking to kind of create that new earth, that new heaven on earth, hit me up, shoot me a DM, because we want to work with you. We want to help people who are helping others. So actually, I probably should write that down. Helping people who are helping others. That just kind of came to me. Anyhow, we have a podcast for you. I can't just sit here thinking of great taglines for my thing for our marketing agency. We gotta get you guys the news and get you guys my opinion on it and what I see happening and what's going down in the world, because it has been a very fascinating ride this last couple of weeks. I'm not going to be able to get into all the news because it would be tremendous. But I'll give you some of the highlights, the ones that I think are most important. So starting off, we have red dye 3 getting banned. If you don't know, food colorings are very bad for your gut biome. They're very bad for neurological development. And they also have been linked to causing ADHD. So first of all, I find it absolutely shocking that we're only doing red dye 3. Might as well do all of the dyes, because they've all been linked to the same things. But of course, we're not, we're just going to start with red dye 3. And I remember we were listening to a congressional hearing. What's even a little bit more alarming is there's a law where if you do animal testing and there's adverse reactions, you can't test on humans. Well, they were trying to get around this. They were trying to get around this law, and that's why red dye 3 was actually on it for so long, is because they were just avoiding doing the animal testing because I knew it ended up being bad. It was a whole thing. I just found it so disgusting, so anti-human, which I think is how we need to start calling these things out, is by what they are, which is just anti-human. To be putting in these dyes. And, the argument always goes, well, to save money, and they have to save money because we live in a capitalistic society. And there's definitely truth to that. But at a big picture, if you are poisoning the food, you are against humanity. Is that really the only way that your brain can innovate to create money, is to poison the food? So I think there's a bigger issue there that needs to be discussed, especially in terms of capitalism. But honestly, our society right now is not capitalistic whatsoever. It is definitely not a pure capitalistic society. Crony capitalism has completely ruined our society. If you're not sure what crony capitalism is, it's essentially the fact that lobbyists lobby congressmen and women to pass certain bills that make it easier for them to make money and harder for small businesses to make money. And this goes on all the time. And so it's called crony capitalism, essentially pay to play. And then you run into the issue of the Pareto distribution, where the cream rises to the top. And that's like the 80-20 principle, if you've ever heard of that. I should do a whole podcast on that alone. But the case and point is just that all the money is going to go to the top especially whenever we have crony capitalism. We definitely need to have certain laws in place in order to look out for the little guy, support local businesses. I know recently there was a conversation on Capitol Hill around credit cards and the percentage that, because you swipe your credit card, the bank charges the transactioneer. So like if you go to, we'll use Walmart because they're a part of this. You go to Walmart, you swipe your credit card, there's a percentage that Walmart has to pay for that transaction. Well, what was happening is that these large corporations would get discounts on the percentages that they paid. So say you're Walmart, McDonald's, and you would set up this deal with Visa or MasterCard, who own 80%. I think it was over 50% of I think it was 80%. Combined, they own 80% of the credit card market. what they said was essentially is that, okay, since you do so many transactions, we'll give you a discount. The problem that happens there is like, if you're a small mom and pop, you don't do so many transactions, and therefore you have to pay a higher percentage on every transaction, which means your prices have to be higher to account for it. And this is just another little symptom of all the BS that's been happening in Congress. It's why you need to get involved. It's why you need to join the American Congress Party. You should change your political affiliation for wherever you live. You should reach out if you're feeling called to volunteer, to participate, because we're not stopping. This train is not stopping. We're going full steam ahead. We're going to be in Washington, and we're going to make changes. We're going to make the changes like appropriate change. I'm not talking about like Obama change where you just kind of like wave your hands. We're going to be permanent, long-lasting changes that frees humanity. Let me say that again. We're going to make changes that will free humanity. There are so many laws that are constricting us. And that's a good thing to point out, is that we might not even be creating laws. We might be taking away laws that have completely strangled the American economy, strangled the people, strangled our wallets, our checkbooks, and metaphorically strangled our food supply and our bodies and our minds. We have to free our bodies and minds. We have to stop the poisoning of our food. And I see this ban as being a step in the right direction. Another problem that came up is that this ban will not take effect. Ready for this? This ban will not take effect until the beginning of 2027, which means they can still use the product for 2 years. We can still dump in some red dye 3 for 2 more years until it goes into effect. Because we want to make sure that these big stores are able to swap it out. It's just a whole mess. It's honestly just a whole mess. We need to go back to just pure food, eating from the ground, stop poisoning our food. We really need to get to a place where we ban pesticides and herbicides, but I guess at least we're stepping in the right direction. So I got to give them credit for that. But big picture, this is just a little dipping our toe in the water. This is nothing to be celebrated. Maybe the fact that the snowball's rolling, we could celebrate that the ball is starting to move. But big picture, this is practically nothing. Speaking of things that should be practically nothing, TikTok actually went dark for several hours today. And oh my gosh, if you want to see people that are possessed, go look at how people are crying and freaking out because TikTok was gone. The fact that that's a thing, and no shame if that was you, no shame at all. I'm just saying that to put that amount of life, of legitimacy, of your willpower, of your energy into one thing, an app, shows that it is not something that is made for good. It is made to suck your energy. It is made to take your energy in and leave you feeling useless. And I think the people crying is a perfect example. And there was an arsonist who actually set fire to a congressman's office over the TikTok ban bill. So you have to realize that TikTok was designed to suck our energy, to divide us. I use this example all the time. There was a video on TikTok, or maybe I saw it on Instagram. I forget where, but it was a video. And there was a girl watching another girl. So let's say girl A was watching a video of girl B. Now, girl A made the video and basically said, look, I watched this video of girl B, and in this video, girl B is complaining about her boyfriend. He hasn't come home yet. She doesn't know where he is. She's starting to worry. Maybe he's doing malicious things. So girl A goes and reads the comments. And in girl A, she sees in the feed, oh, you should dump him. He's terrible. He's worthless. You deserve better. He's doing something wrong. You should be suspicious. So girl A sends the video to her boyfriend. Her boyfriend A, looks at said comments, and it's all men saying like, don't worry. He's not cheating. He's not doing anything. He's just out with the guys. Just be relaxed. Everything will be okay. Yada, yada, yada. So it is literally being created to divide us within the comment section. Literally to divide us within the comment section. And so to me, I find that atrocious. Again, I find that anti-human. I find that to be pure evil. Oh, well, we need people to be on it longer so that we make more money. Her, her, her. Stop dividing people. Make a product that's so good, it connects humanity. It restores our soul, the thing that joins us all, that piece of God, that piece of nature, of source, of spirit that connects all of us. Create apps, create things that do that. You'll be prosperous. Maybe it takes a little bit longer, but you will be prosperous. And as an example, right, here's a whole thing of, don't just say, do the action. If you don't know, I am also the chief software architect of Amara Social. And Amara Social is an app. You can check it out. You can download it in the App Store. Currently, we are just on the very first version of it. Our entire vision, the energy we are putting behind it, is to bring people together. Not through division, not through clickbait, not through any of that. You will be promoted for saying kind words. You will be promoted for interactions that are uplifting, content that's uplifting, informative. And we'll also be promoting free speech. You're allowed to say and get the truth out, because so many of these other platforms have went zero dark 30 and banned people for no reason. I'm one of them. So, I guess it's one of those things where if you can't beat them, join them. And then once you join them, beat them. So that's our plan with Amara Social. So you can download it now if you want. I totally recommend waiting until we release this new version, because it's going to be so sick that it's probably worth waiting just a little bit. But if you're anxious to check it out, go check it out. It's called Amara Social. It's on the Google Play Store and it's on the Apple iOS Store. It has like a little orange A with a little guy inside of it in the negative space. So I recommend that. It's very cool. Very, very useful, if you will. Excuse me. We also have the Ceasefire coming in. I think it was a couple days ago, or it was today. And I believe that the deal was essentially Israel was going to free so many prisoners. And I found that Hamas was going to release 33 over the next 5 weeks. I know currently Hamas has freed 3 people and Israel has released 90. And what do you know? It's all women and children that are the hostages, which I find utterly atrocious. And if you're talking about anti-human, that's what this is. This is pure evil. It's absolute evil that it's women and children that are being these pawns in the games of men sitting in ivory towers who don't care about the future generations. The amount of trauma that these people, I can only imagine, went through. They didn't just sit. They weren't lavish. They weren't being fed well. I mean, gosh, you can only imagine the heinous activities that they probably endured. And so the crazy thing is, there's a couple crazy things here. Number one, they're supposed to release all of the hostages within the next 5 weeks, which I find I don't understand. Like, guys, you created a ceasefire, just release them all right away. Why? Why are we waiting 5 weeks? The other thing that I found interesting is that Benjamin Netanyahu, who is the prime minister of Israel, who nobody in Israel wants to be their prime minister anymore, said that we still reserve the right, essentially. I'm paraphrasing him, but he said we reserve the right to attack, Palestine and Hamas if we so deem necessary and we want to do it, basically, if they don't hold up their end of the bargain, which maybe you could argue that it's a conversational piece, but to me, it's just like that type of language, and nothing against Benjamin Netanyahu, but like that kind of language is not going to create world peace, which always brings me back to, do they actually want to create world peace? And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I feel that everything we see being played out on the world stage is pure evil. I can't think anything less than that. The bombs going off, the kids that are being separated from their family, the displaced people. I mean, and after tens of thousands, I mean, I don't even know if they broke 100. They might have broken 100,000 people that were killed in these things. And I look at it and I think it's just so sad. And it brings me back to something I think Max Lowen said on our podcast, which you should go check out. Max Lowen's podcast on traveling to consciousness. Very crazy, very interesting, and really will open your eyes to different light. But something that she said is that she believes that these are essentially sacrifice rituals. Evil uses these wars to get energy from people. And I was like, damn, like that's a crazy way to think about it. And I don't know how deep she went into it, but like I started thinking about it, and it's like, well, you're creating a lot of fear. So you're feeding that energy. You're creating more fear on the planet. You are killing people. I think we know sacrifice rituals are real at some level. And so to think of it as like a mass sacrifice ritual, that's very dark. That's a very dark way to look at it. And I really hope that's not the case. But I don't have, and I hope someone could give me some sort of reason or rationale that so many people have been killed in wars and nothing changes essentially afterwards. It's just like, oh, everything goes back to normal. We killed 100,000 people here, 100,000 people here, total to like about 1 million. And then we'll just go back to what we're doing. To me, it just screams evil. And I just, we need people. Here's what we need. We need people in leadership positions that are leading with their heart, who truly, truly care about the citizens, who care about the common man, And I don't see it. I don't see, that's not true. I see some. There are some out there. I'm not going to say there's none, but just it seems to me as though they're all possessed or they're demons. I don't know, either one. But I truly hope, and it's my belief, that we are getting closer to world peace. They say it's always darkest before the dawn. And so I'm hoping that what we're seeing is our darkest hour. And I hope that the American Congress Party is going to be that shining bright light that leads us into the new earth, the new world, the new heaven, talked about in every single biblical text. And I truly think that's what we're here to do. And a quick update on that. I actually got reached out to by America PAC. I'm not sure if anyone knows who that is, but it is the political action committee that is funded by Elon Musk. And I felt like sharing that because I found it very fascinating. And I told them like a lot of the stuff that I believe, and they seemed pretty much aligned, like that they wanted to kind of like fund my campaign. They're not like fully, but like help me get set up and make it happen. And I just found it very fascinating that this was, more conversations definitely need to be have. And I think it's something where I need to be very careful of. So I'm just being as transparent as I can on here. I find that I need to be very careful about it because once you start taking money, people can influence you, right? So I want to make sure that they're actually hearing my beliefs and that that's okay. And, if for some reason there's any contracts that get signed, it's like, hey, like I don't know how this works. Okay. So I'm kind of going into it blind, but the people I met with, very knowledgeable, very, very smart individuals. And I'm excited to kind of see where this plays out because, maybe they were just being yes men. I don't know. I am very cautiously optimistic in this situation because I don't know. This is the first time like a large PAC has reached out to me. And so if it's all good, if everything checks out, I mean, why not work with them? If they believe in me, if they believe in what I'm saying and doing, but leave a comment below. Shoot me a message on any DMs, or if you're on Spotify, leave a comment below. Let me know things that you think I may need to watch out for, or ask about. Definitely going to do a query online about what I should be worried about, what I should think about, what questions I should ask to make sure I don't get trapped like all these other politicians, because that alone would really devastate me, as if I made a mistake this early on that corrupted me in a sense, in the sense of not being able to carry out the vision that I desire, carry out the vision that I believe will bring peace and prosperity and unity and balance to earth, to restore Dharma, to restore the righteousness that we all deserve. It's our God-given right. And yet we've been stripped of that right for so long. So I'm definitely going to be doing my due diligence with that. Just want to keep up with the transparency, which is why I'm letting you guys know here. And speaking of Elon, his guy, Donald Trump, will be sworn into office tomorrow. So I think that that's a very interesting timing now that I'm putting this all together. But let's see what happens. I think it'll be very telling because Congress is 100% Republican. The president's Republican. So perfect example of let's see what happens and if they're all talk. Because I know whenever Obama got in 2012 or 2008, one of the times Obama got in, he had a fully Democratic Congress. They did nothing. The first time Trump got in, fully Republican Congress, they did nothing. So now Trump seems to be going in, and let's see if they actually do stuff. I mean, that's kind of like my big thing is like, are they actually going to do stuff, do what they said? Forget if it's good or bad. Like, I mean, forget about that for a second. Like they actually, well, probably shouldn't forget about that. I guess I'm trying to bring up the point that it seems like they make all these promises, they get in office, they do nothing. So we definitely don't want to make things worse, but the way things are going, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And furthermore, the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency that Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy are heading, I'll tell you what, they've got their work cut out for them because we do need to cut down our big government right now. You saw all these fires that are happening in LA. That's destroying a tremendous amount of money that gets sent to the federal government, a tremendous amount of money that gets sent to the government of California. So we better start cutting stuff. If we don't start cutting stuff, we're going to be in tune for a financial collapse. And I at this point feel like it's imminent that financial collapse is going to happen. But, and that's another thing, looking at all this timing, right? I think timing is very interesting. The ceasefire happened right at the cusp of Trump getting in, just days before. So because of that, Obama will be able to say that the ceasefire happened during his term. Trump will be able to say, no, it happened because I got into office. So it's always amazing how you can see those little things play out and then both of them take credit for it. And it's like, why the hell didn't this happen earlier? Why the hell indeed? And then what was the other thing that we were talking about that was about timing? The wildfires getting in, the financial collapse. So, it's happening right when Trump gets in. So it's going to happen, I think, pretty quickly after his presidency starts. And then he can blame Biden, and then Biden will, the Democrats can blame them for their 4 years lack of leadership, when in reality that this has been an issue that was created by both parties and 100% the reason that we need to vote for American Congress Party. It's going to be an interesting time, guys. I really encourage everyone to stay positive because I think that we are on that cusp of creating the new heaven, the new earth. Tune in, stay here. Let's keep talking about it. This Wednesday, we are having an IG live with me and Shelby Moore, or Shelby Moore and I. We'll be going live on Instagram to discuss presence. So go check that out. In the event that you're listening to this podcast at a very distant date in the future, we have likely mitigated. We've gone to Patreon, and on Patreon, you'll be able to get all the videos that we've ever talked about. So it should be a solid collection there by the time you're listening to this. And I'm running low on breath. I have been going through it. I don't know what's going on. Just headaches, feeling good, but I just got back from the jiu-jitsu, but I definitely need to rest. So I'm glad I got this out there. I appreciate you all. I love you all, and I will see you all in the 6th dimension.